Well, it's a little early for Oktoberfest, being late August, but the Festbiers have started to come out in stores. So, I decided to try the ones that are available. One Oktoberfest beer by Paulaner is called a Festbier in the store, but they make 3 different styles of Oktoberfest beers. Paulaner does. One is a Märzen, one is a Festbier or a Wiesenbier, which is this style. And the other one, although it says it's a Festbier, it's actually a German Pilsner, and that's the one that's available in the store. So I didn't get that one because it's not really a Festbier. Now, I have these beers ranked by their beer advocate scores from highest to lowest. This one is 90. Weihenstephaner is 85. Hofbräu is 81. And Warsteiner is 80. This is Tucher. Tucher Festbier. It has an ABV of, 5.8. And Tucher Brewery is located in Nuremberg. Warsteiner is located in Freising. It has an ABV of 5.9. Hofbräu has the highest ABV at 6.3. Warsteiner is from Warstein, Germany, which is east of Dusseldorf and north of Frankfurt. It has an ABV of 5.8. I didn't even know that Warsteiner made a Festbier, but I'm glad they do. Because their regular lager or German Helles, as far as that style of beer goes, I don't think Warsteiner's is very good. At least in comparison to the other ones. Now, Oktoberfest started in 1810 for Crown Prince Ludwig of, Ludwig of Bavaria, who later became King Ludwig I. It was a wedding celebration where he married Princess Teresa of Saxony, Hildburghausen. And that's where Wiesen, or Oktoberfest, gets its name. The Germans call it Wiesen, because it was called Teresa's Meadows, or Theresian Wiese. And that's the name of the metro station that takes you to the grounds. And that's where the celebration is held. That's where all the Festzelts or beer tents are held. Only one of these beers you can get at Oktoberfest or Wiesen, and that's the Hofbräu. Because in order to sell beer at Oktoberfest, you have to be one of the 6 breweries in Munich that is authorized to do so. That would be Löwenbräu, Hofbräu, Spaten, Paulaner, Augustiner, and the Hacker-Pschorr. Those are the 6 breweries that can sell beer at the Wiesen. Spaten is credited with creating the Märzen, the first Oktoberfest beer, March beer. And by the mid-1900s, the focus of the celebration became about beer. People went there for the beer more than anything else, and it became the celebration of beer. In 1970, Spaten created Paulaner created the Festbier, this style, and it eventually replaced the Märzen as the primary Oktoberfest beer. So when you see something called an Oktoberfest beer, it will either be a Märzen or a Wiesenbier or Festbier. Wiesenbier, Festbier are the same things. So it says Festbier on the can here. Let's see. This says Oktoberfestbier. But the other The traditional Oktoberfest style is a Märzen, which is a more amber copper-colored lager. That's more malty. And the creators of this, the Spaten brewer who created this style, wanted a beer that was easier to drink because tastes were changing. People were starting to prefer lighter beers. And so this still has, it's more malty than the typical Helles. And it's got the same ABV as the Märzens, which is in the upper 5s to low 6s. So, like I said, this is the 6.2, the highest, or 6.3, and the lowest rated one here is a 5.8. So, I'm not going to do this blindfold because that's just too much chaos and confusion. But I will start off, let's start off with the worst and work my way up to the best, according to the ratings. A very slight aroma. That's pretty good, actually. That has some sweetness going in. I don't detect much hopness to it or bitterness. It's quite smooth. There's hardly any bitterness on the finish. The malts, there is some caramelly, slightly caramelly burnt toast type of flavor to it. Very slight. But it's a good, it's an easy drinkable beer. Now Hofbräu. Hofbräu, who I compared against the Weihenstephaner, and I thought Hofbräu was a bit better. It was sweetness, but it followed up with some bitterness. So you get some upfront malts, not much of an aroma. Definitely more hoppiness to it and bitterness than the Warsteiner. And a slightly more bittery hop finish, just slightly. I'm not getting too much of that burnt toast taste that I got in the Warsteiner. But there's a lingering bitterness now, a lingering dryness that has come on a few seconds after the finish. Now, Weihenstephaner. Definitely more hoppy up front. It's got some tanginess to it up front. And it finishes the same way. It's consistent. It doesn't change. You get that upfront hoppy tanginess to it. And it carries all the way through to the finish. And there's not much maltiness to it, at least in comparison to these two. Or at least Hofbräu. So far, I like the Weihenstephaner the least. All right. I've never had a Tucher beer before. I don't think I've had any Tucher beers or any style. Well, maybe I have in a restaurant. We have a German beer garden in Cocoa, and I might have gotten a Tucher there. But I've definitely never had their Festbier. At least I don't think I have. So this is the highest ranked one. It better be good. It's more in line with the Weihenstephaner. It's a bit tangy. It's not quite as tangy as the Weihenstephaner, but it's got that bitterness up front that carries all the way through. And a slightly drier finish. Maybe slightly drier than the Weihenstephaner. I'm not sure. I would say that I might have a bit different taste than the majority of the beer advocate people who rated this the highest, because I'm liking these two lowest rated beers the most. They are the maltiest and the sweetest, and maybe that's why I like them. I don't know. But I would say that the Tucher and the Weihenstephaner are not as easy to drink as the Warsteiner or the Hofbräu. That was pretty good. Let's see if that delayed dryness comes on. It does slightly, but it's because I have been drinking water. So these two are the best, supposedly, but I need to find out why. They are definitely more bitter, more hoppy, I believe. So I would say that these two are the closest to a Märzen, the traditional Märzen, being the maltiness to it, and maybe the burnt toast flavor out of this. This has some richness to it. It's got some tanginess and some richness. Okay. 1, 2, 3, super. I got a bit of caramely flavor in that. It was good. It was tangy and bitter, and a little bit caramely. I'll try the same thing with the Warsteiner. Yeah, that's caramely too. Had some bitterness, but slightly sweeter. I think, I don't know, I think the Tucher might be better. Weihenstephaner. Not much caramely taste to it, not much of the maltiness that caramely burnt toast type of flavor. This has the least of it, I think. Even with a big gulp. But it's still easy. It's good. Now I'm going to do it with the Hofbräu. The next time I go to Germany, I'm going to do some beer comparisons there with some of the beers that you can get there that you can't get here. Some of the fest beers, if I go during September, October, yeah, there'll be fest beers that'll be available and I'll be able to compare them. But these are the only fest beers that I get. Well, there was another one, Benedictina, which I'm not sure where it's from other than Germany, but the store was out of it. And I've never heard of it, Benedictina. And they have a fest beer. All right, here we go, Hofbräu. This is the most diverse beer of the four. I'm going to go with Hofbräu as being my favorite among these four. And picking the rest in any type of order is going to be quite difficult. If you like the carameliness, I would say go for the Warsteiner. If you like the bitterness, I would say go for Festbier or the Weihenstephaner. If you like maltiness up front and a hoppy finish, go for the Hofbräu. Tucher is going to be, I believe, somewhere in between Hofbräu and Weihenstephaner in sweetness and hoppiness. And some carameliness. It has some carameliness too. So that was good. This is still tangy. Still the hoppiest, still the least caramelly and the least malty. So which two are the most different? It'd probably have to be Hofbräu and Weihenstephaner. Or maybe Warsteiner and Weihenstephaner. Because this has hardly any hoppiness to it at all. And Weihenstephaner has not much maltiness to it. This is more caramely, whereas Weihenstephaner is least caramely. So, there you have it. Hoppy, bitter, consistent. This one, Tucher, is also hoppy and bitter, but it has some carameliness to it. Hofbräu, malty up front, bitter finish, and a dryness that comes on after the finish. Warsteiner, pretty sweet and caramely all the way through, and not much hoppiness to it at all. There you have it. So that's my take. What do you think? Have you had all these beers? Which one's your favorite? Go out and try them if you can get them, and if you can get some other fest beers in your area, get those and try them. And let me know which one you think is best, or what you think about them. I wish they'd have more fest beers here, but I think these are the only four that I could find other than the Benedictina, which the store was out of, and I've never heard of it or seen it before, so I don't know. They're probably always out of it. Well, maybe it'll show up one day, and when it does, I'll get it and I'll try it. I don't even know where it's from. But unfortunately, there weren't any other fest beers. A lot of the times when they have the style listed, and when you click on the Oktoberfest style, it brings up both Märzens and Festbiers at the store I go to and when I look online. So you got to go through all these beers and then find out which one is a Festbier and which one is a Märzen. And I don't care for Märzens that much, or at least that style. I don't like it as much as I like the Festbier style. It's more like a Vienna lager, a red lager. So there you go. Thanks for watching.